Hello YouTube. This week I've got the keys to a 2018 Volkswagen Tiguan. Let's take a look. So this is the new 2018 Tiguan, powered by a 2-liter turbo, 8-speed automatic transmission. It starts at $28,000 for the front-wheel drive model. This is an all-wheel drive Highline, the top-of-the-line model. And it does have a package on there, so it comes out to about $42,000. So not inexpensive. The new Tiguan's quite a bit larger than the old one. You've now got the option, $750 Canadian option for third-row seats in there. So this is an interesting color. It's kind of like pumpkin orange, but it's called habanero fire or something like that, orange. It's kind of cool looking car. So it looks very similar to the Atlas, just smaller. But when you see just pictures of them, it's hard to kind of distinguish them at first. So this is the 4Motion all-wheel drive, and it has the kick to open. You got to kind of get right in there. There you go. So we got a kick to open and a large trunk. And again, there is an option for a third row seat, so that would flip up here, and it would be pretty small there. So you've got a large tonneau cover with this large space, which covers the back of this. And then under here, you've got a speaker inside the spare tire as well. You can flip down the seats with these levers in the back. Here, I'll show you here. We'll flip that down. You got to pull quite hard on them, actually. So that opens it up, and then there we go. It folds down. And this, of course, can go on the 2 levels, and so you can have a flat floor there. You see that? So if you pull that up, you'll have a flat floor here. This does lock, so it doesn't just come up. You've got to pull this little tab here to get that to come back up, and pull that up. Hop in the back seat. You'll see there's quite a bit of space here. Quite large, actually, in the back of this. This is way bigger than the previous generation. And again, that third row seat is an option, so you can see how much bigger it is. Up here, you got a gigantic panoramic sunroof on the top, and then you've got this kind of typical Volkswagen interior, but improved over time. The nice flat panel. I actually really like that flat panel center display, the navigation system, and we'll go over that in a second. So this is a Highline, loaded with leather and that. So let's head around the front and take a look at that. Okay, so up front here, you've got that beautiful flat panel display, which has all your information in there for your radio. So we can click on that radio, media, so you can connect your USB, phone, and then you've got also this car information, which will show you fuel economy, this Think Blue Trainer, which is telling you how economical you're driving, vehicle status, and off-road information as well. So there's a bunch of stuff in here. And it's really easy to use, and it used to be the Volkswagen systems were really slow. This is like super fast now. Pull that up in navigation, and you can pinch zoom navigation and move it around, and easily pick. If I want to go here, you can just start your route guidance. So if you want to head up to Renfrew, we can just click on that and then say start route guidance. So it works really well, really easy to use. Down at the bottom here, we've got dual climate control, which you can sync, automatic climate control, heated seats for both sides, and a heated steering wheel. When you actually hit the heated seat button, it just instantly turns on the heated steering wheel and turns the heated seats onto the highest. And you turn off the heated seats, but it doesn't turn off the steering wheel. You have to basically when you hit that, that'll pop up on the screen here, and you can hit that to turn off the steering wheel, or you can turn off the heated seats, or you can hit 3, 2, 1, whatever you'd like. Really user-friendly. Start button is down at the bottom, which is a little bit odd, but you get used to it. Driving modes down here as well. You've got this system here, which shows you this is kind of your normal street driving, and you've got a snow mode, and that'll come up on here, snow. And then we'll switch that to off-road mode, and then there's a custom mode that you can if you head into adjust. You can turn all these different things off your drive system, not off, sorry. You can change them to different types, off-road or normal, or however you want that in your custom one. And there's also, if you put it back to street mode, you've got these different modes here. So you've got eco, normal, sport, and again, a custom mode for that. So I haven't driven it in eco mode because in normal mode it is so slow it's frustrating. So I've been driving it in sport mode. The transmission is set to shift almost instantly whenever you get going, and it feels so anemic. There's only, this is a pretty big vehicle. It's only 184 horsepower. There's 221 pound-feet of torque, which isn't bad, but it's turbocharged, so it takes a little bit of time to get up to speed with that. And just with it shifting, with the transmission shifting like that, it's really, really slow. Once you're moving, the car's quick. This is not a slow vehicle. It's just feels slow if you're not in sport mode due to the programming. So we got in the dash here. This is all like an LCD panel that can be completely configurable. I can go through it all, but it'll take a long time. There's a ton of stuff in here. You can go through all these different settings and different views. So I'm just going to go into the views just to show you. You can click on here, if it's speed and gear. So if you click on speed and gear, now it'll show you your gear over here and then your speed right in the middle. And if you go to classic, those will disappear, and then you'll just have 2 classic needle gauges. And you can go down to economy, and that'll show your fuel economy on the left, or economy and range, which will show your fuel economy on the left and your range on the right. Kind of funny with the Germans, they always want to give you every single option they can. Why you would want fuel economy only and not economy and range, and then have a blank one over here, I don't really know. And if you go into off-road mode here, you've got, it shows you your compass over here, and then your steering angle over here, so you can see that kind of moving, -2, +1 or 2 degrees. So that's good for off-road settings as well. And, there's navigation, fuel economy, driving data, your phone, your radio stations, everything can be displayed in there, which is really nice. So that's basically the same as the Atlas. All these kinds of things are coming in all these vehicles now. On your steering wheel, you've got those buttons that I was just using to move this around. And then on the left-hand side, you've got your cruise, and this does have the radar-guided cruise as well, which works really well to keep your speed. And again, German engineering here. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different settings for distance, following distance. And I like to set it at 1 or 2. I find at the other distances it's just too far. Over on the left, you have your automatic headlights. And down here, way at the bottom, a nice big bin for some stuff like your garage door opener maybe, and some junk, whatever you throw in there. Up top, you've got these 2 buttons which control the shade back and forth on that one, and it is automatic if you hit it, but it takes quite a long time. So hit that, I'll keep talking. You've got your sunroof. This will tilt as well as slide, and then your reading lamps, your door lamps, and that as well here. And you see how long that actually took to come back. Is quite a long time, but it's a gigantic roof, so it's kind of expected to take that long. This here, this is all rubberized dash. You can see it kind of bend. It's all kind of rubberized dash. It's really nice, really well done. You've got kind of this hatched plastic, kind of fake carbon fiber, I guess. It's not, I don't think it's supposed to be carbon fiber. It's like a weave. You've got your disc changer with SD cards here, your CD changer with SD cards in the glove box, and it's quite a good sized glove box. And the mat pockets and that on the doors are actually really large. I'll open that up and get a better view, and you can see they're quite large here. And you've got a trunk release there, and your window controls and that. This does have the Fender audio system, which is upgraded. Over on the right-hand side, a couple of cup holders and an armrest. A little bit disappointed here that this armrest doesn't do the typical notching, locking Volkswagen thing, and it doesn't slide back and forth. It is a fixed armrest on this. Down at the bottom, you've got an auxiliary input, 2 USBs, and a 12-volt power outlet. So that's pretty much it for the interior, but it's not like it's not much. There's quite a bit there. I don't want to go through every setting in the infotainment system, but it is, just to reiterate, it works really well. Volkswagen's really stepped up their game there. So let's take it for a drive and see how it performs on the road. Right, so out on the road here, thing you'll notice, as I mentioned kind of while I was sitting inside, is acceleration in normal mode. And I'm going to actually switch it to eco mode to see what it's like. Yeah, you got to really press the gas pedal a lot harder. So in normal mode or eco mode, transmission shifts early, throttle response is not that great. So I've been driving it in sport mode. And in sport mode, feels pretty good, pretty peppy. It's still first gear. There's a little bit of lag because of that turbo lag. But other than that, this thing is pretty nice, pretty comfortable. Very, very little road noise, very little outside noises, wind noise, or even cars going by. You barely hear them. It's an SUV crossover, and it's fairly large now that it's a lot bigger than it used to be, but it still feels like light and nimble like a car does. So if you're used to driving a car and you're kind of looking to step up to a smaller SUV, but you don't want to go too big, this Tiguan's actually not bad. It gives you a ton of space, and it still feels like a car. It's easy enough to park. The windows in that are large enough that it's easy to see out of. The mirrors are nice and large as well, and it does have blind spot detection. So it's I'm pretty impressed with it in that regard. It's pretty darn nice to drive. The one thing that's really impressive, I click over here on the car. I'm going to have to click it a couple of times while I'm driving, so that's not very convenient. But what I'm looking for is the fuel economy. And the fuel economy on this thing is pretty darn impressive. Well, it's not coming up. Anyways, I know the fuel economy is about 8.2 liters per 100 kilometers for what I've driven so far. And I've driven this vehicle for 450 kilometers. And it says that I have about a range of another 300 and so kilometers, or 250 kilometers or something like that. So, the gas tank range is really impressive. We're looking at 700 kilometer range in normal driving. I do a lot of highway driving because I live out in the country. But we took this shopping, so we were in the city a bit with this, and kind of driving around town a bit as well. And it's still averaging at 8.2 liters per 100 kilometers. So it is pretty good in that regard. And it does, even though it's a turbo engine, it does only take regular fuel. So, you don't have to worry about paying that extra premium for the premium fuel. And, and it's doing really, really great fuel economy. So if you really romp on this thing, it does pick up speed pretty quick. And it really is nice and smooth on the highway at higher speeds. The 8-speed transmission is really quick to shift. And that's the thing, is in eco mode, it's too quick to shift. It shifts so quick that it ends up in higher gear, and then the car feels really sluggish. But it's so smooth. You'd think it's a DSG transmission, but it's not. It's an automatic transmission. But it shifts gears really quickly. And if you watch the speedo as it's climbing, as you're accelerating, it doesn't stop for a second as it shifts gears and keeps going. It just smoothly accelerates up. And if you're cruising, say I'm at 90 kilometers an hour right now, you're cruising 90 kilometers an hour, you're under 2,000 RPM on the tack, and there's still plenty of power there to get yourself moving, get yourself past another car, and you put your foot in it and it goes. Now there is this weird hissing sound that I thought was the turbo, kind of hissing afterwards as you accelerate, kind of building pressure. But I'm not quite sure if it's that, or if it's that, if this has the piping in the sound of the engine into the cabin. Because if you turn the radio off, like I have it off now, I hear this hissing sound constantly, and then the microphone's not going to pick it up. But as I get on the throttle harder, it makes more of a hissing sound. So I'm not sure what's going on there. It's kind of weird and annoying. But if you have the radio on, which say probably 99% of people do drive with their radios on, you won't really hear it anyways, so it's not a big deal. There you have it, 2018 Volkswagen Tiguan. You either like the looks of it or you don't. It kind of looks like a Jeep a little bit. It's quite a bit bigger than the previous Tiguan. So if you had a Tiguan before and you like the size of it, you may not like that this one's larger. But if you wanted a bigger vehicle and you were looking at a Tiguan, this one is quite a bit bigger than the previous version. And it is available with the third row seats. In a pinch, you can use those. And as I mentioned, this one's 42,500 Canadian plus taxes for the Highline version. I think it looks quite sharp, and it does look very similar to a Volkswagen Atlas. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe to my channel.